It's 1542 on the 30th of October 2025. In the South China Sea, near the Spratly Islands, the destroyer USS John Finn, DDG-113, cuts through gray water under heavy clouds. Suddenly, the ship's AN divided by SPY-1DV radar lights up multiple tracks, fast and low, closing from the west. Contact, bearing 270, range 20 miles. Alarms echo through steel corridors. Crew rush to battle stations. On deck, the MH-60R Seahawk powers up, blades whipping salt air. The combat system paints clearer shapes now, two Chinese Type 52D destroyers advancing, their Type 346 amperes radar sweeping like searchlights. Radio chatter spikes, orders flow sharp and fast. The electronic warfare officer calls out interference. Chinese jamming already probing their defenses. The captain grips the console, eyes locked on the display. The horizon stays quiet, but every sailor feels it. Something dangerous has just begun. The South China Sea isn't just open water, it's one of the world's busiest lifelines. Every day, tankers, cargo ships, and fishing boats move through its lanes, carrying oil, food, and electronics that power daily life from Tokyo to Los Angeles. When a single destroyer enters this contested space, it's not just about patrol duty, it's about who controls the flow of the global economy. For the crew of USS John Finn, today's mission is a freedom of navigation operation to prove these waters remain open and free. But for China's Type 52D destroyers, the same waters are sovereign territory. Both sides know the script: shadow, warn, test limits, but never fire first. Inside the Combat Information Center, tension runs deep. Operators whisper updates, their voices steady but strained. The captain weighs each move carefully, turn too early, and it looks like retreat. Hold too long, and it's provocation. The AN divided by SLQ 32x6 system hums, catching bursts of Type 346 amperes radar sweeps. Every ping is a reminder. They're being watched, measured, and challenged. From 1542 to 1645, the ship walks a razor's edge. The Seahawk sensors listen for telltale emissions, while the combat system keeps SM-2 divided by SM-6Q deterrence without a trigger. Across the water, the 52Ds carry YJ-18 strike missiles and HHQ-9B SAMs, and their crews are just as alert. A single flare, a misread laser range cue, or a hard turn across the bow could flip this standoff into chaos. Insurance rates would spike, allies would demand answers, and a local test could turn into a week of brinkmanship. Out in these gray waters, diplomacy feels distant. What's left is nerve, training, and the thin line between deterrence and disaster. If this moment were yours, would you stand firm or pull back before it's too late? Comment 1 if you'd hold the line, or 9 if you'd back off. 1556. The tension aboard USS John Finn sharpens. The ship's radar marks two solid returns, both Type 52Ds, now inside 18 miles in closing. Track confirmed, bearing 265. The operations officer nods. Let's light 'em up. A tone fills the air as AN divided by SPY-1DV focuses, locking onto the Chinese destroyers. Within seconds, the Type 346 amperes radars answer back, painting the American ship in turn. Electronic warfare begins in silence, a duel of invisible beams. The electronic warfare officer detects new spikes on the spectrum. They're scanning us possible YJ-18 targeting mode. The captain doesn't flinch. Deploy countermeasures. Stand by for defensive posture. On command, the AN divided by SLQ-32 V6 floods the ether with noise, jamming patterns designed to confuse enemy seekers. On deck, the MH-60R Seahawk circles wide, feeding real-time video and signals to the combat center. Through the haze, its camera catches the faint shimmer of a laser rangefinder flashing from one of the 52Ds. They're lacing us, the sensor operator calls out. The captain exhales. Copy. Mark that vector. No engagement yet. 1610. The destroyer shifts to a defensive track, turning slightly east to keep distance while maintaining course through the contested zone. The Aegis system hums alive. SM-2 and SM-6 missiles sit armed, but locked under command hold. The tension feels like a loaded spring. Across the water, the Chinese destroyers split their formation. One keeps a direct tail, the other crosses the American bow at 8 miles. Over the bridge speakers, a heavily accented voice crackles through VHF. U.S. warship, you are entering Chinese territorial waters. Leave immediately. The response comes steady. This is United States Navy warship conducting lawful operations in international waters. Every syllable is deliberate, rehearsed, professional, but the message is clear. We're not moving. The air grows thick with electronic noise. Both sides broadcast, jam, and reposition. The crew of John Finn runs drills, silently tracking, countering, simulating intercepts. Then, an alert chime breaks through. New contact, unidentified drone, low altitude, bearing 258. The room snaps to full focus. Another test? Or the start of something bigger? The unidentified drone holds low, barely skimming the waves. Its radar cross-section is tiny, its signature erratic. The MH-60R Seahawk tracks it, camera zoom tight. Visual confirmed small quad type. Fast, maybe ship launched. The captain glances at the display. It's a probe. Let's see how far they want to push. The USS John Finn keeps her course steady, defensive systems awake but silent. The Aegis display glows with icons, 2 destroyers to the west, 1 drone now weaving closer, and a haze of radar clutter from deliberate Chinese jamming. They're trying to blind us, the EW officer mutters. The captain nods. Then we listen instead. Passive sensors take over, reading every reflection, every burst of coded noise. At 1625, the drone dips below 10 meters altitude, now within a few miles. It's locking illumination radar, comes the call. The captain's tone hardens. Warning shot, only laser designator. A narrow green beam flashes from John Finn's bow, cutting across the horizon. The drone jerks away, then vanishes into cloud. 1 test deflected. But the 52D aren't retreating. Now both Chinese destroyers increase speed, plumes trailing, hulls cutting closer. One hails again. U.S. warship, you are violating Chinese law. On the bridge, the message plays like a broken record. Maintain course, the captain orders. The John Finn adjusts heading by 2 degrees, barely perceptible, but symbolic. It's a signal. We stay the line. The sea seems to tighten around them. CIC chatter slows. Every operator feels the weight of precision. A misstep could trigger missiles from both sides. Seahawk reports second drone airborne. The voice says overcoms. Copy. Keep it in sight, the captain replies. Inside the ship, tension feels alive. Breathing, pulsing, stretching across decks. One sailor murmurs, "They're not backing off, sir." The captain answers softly, "Neither are we." This is the moment that separates deterrence from escalation. The line between command and chaos. If you were in that seat, what would you do? Press 1 if you'd hold firm like the John Finn, or 9 if you'd turn away before the spark. 1632. A sharp electronic tone slices through the control room. New emission detected, different frequency band. The operators trade quick looks. Source unknown, bearing 249. The captain leans closer to the screen. Not from the destroyers. Could be shore-based radar or something else. Seconds later, the Seahawk's infrared feed catches movement, a small, fast shape skimming the surface. New contact confirmed, unmanned surface vehicle, closing fast, 30 knots. The command deck goes silent for a second. Another test, or a prelude to something bigger? Helm, 2 degrees port, CIWS to standby. The gun mounts shift, tracking the unknown. Crew move with precision, smooth, silent, disciplined. The drone surges closer. Through binoculars, it's no fishing skiff, metallic hull, antenna mast, a glowing sensor module on its bow. Could be an E-lint collector, the intel officer mutters. Or a decoy. The captain's jaw tightens. We'll know in 10 seconds. A green pulse flashes from John Finn's laser designator, striking the drone's sensor head. For a brief moment, the sea goes still. But on radar, the picture shifts again, both Type 52D destroyers changing posture. One swings bow on, lowering radar signature. The other lights up wideband radar, flooding the sky with static. "They're escalating electronically," says the EW officer. "They're trying to blind us." "Then we jam back," replies the captain. The ship's AN divided by SLQ-32. V6 fires, bursts of electronic noise, matching frequency for frequency. The air becomes a silent battlefield of beams, noise, and willpower. No missiles fired, no shots exchanged, yet both sides know the next decision could be the one that crosses the line. 1638. The second drone appears faster, lower, and heading straight for the ship's bow. The sea churns beneath its frame as it races through the mist. Contact closing 1 mile. The bridge crew braces. The captain doesn't blink. CIWS, track only. No fire unless confirmed hostile. The phalanx system swivels, gun barrels spinning up with a rising metallic whine. Inside the control room, the displays flicker. Chinese radar emissions spike again, overlapping frequencies to mask the drone's signal. "They're using jamming cover," shouts the EW officer. Seahawk confirms the drone's transmitting video live feed, likely back to one of the 52 Ds. The captain's voice turns cold. "So they're watching us. Let's show them discipline." Then, without warning, the drone dives its trajectory straight toward the hull. "Impact in 5 seconds. Confirmed threat." "No, it's still unknown." The captain's voice cuts sharp. "Deploy flares now." Bright streaks arc across the sky, casting harsh light over the waves. The drone veers, blinded, smashes into the sea, fragments scattering like sparks on dark water. For a heartbeat, silence. Then both Type 52D's flare radar beams again, hard locks, unmistakable targeting signatures. "They've locked us up," shouts the weapons officer. The captain takes a breath. "Hold your fire." The seconds crawl. The tension in the air feels solid, heavy, almost audible. Every hand on the bridge grips something: rails, consoles, hope. 1644. The radar locks fade. The Chinese ships ease their course westward, slowly, deliberately. The standoff breaks. No missiles, no shots, but a message delivered on both sides. The USS John Finn continues her line, steady through the spray. In CIC, sailors quietly tag and archive every spike of Type 346 amperes activity. The AN divided by SLQ-32 for 6 captures clean slices of the jamming patterns. The Seahawk logs the earlier laser sweep for analysis. 1645. Phone op complete. Course maintained. Lessons recorded for the next watch. Every sailor exhales. Someone mutters, "We held." The captain nods, eyes still on the horizon. Today, yes, but tomorrow's another test. Would you have stayed that calm under pressure, or fired first to end the threat? Comment 1 if you'd hold steady, or 9 if you'd take the shot. By 1646, the radio traffic fades. The South China Sea returns to its uneasy calm. But every sailor aboard USS John Finn knows what just happened wasn't routine. They faced down 2 Chinese destroyers, electronic warfare, and unmanned intrusions, and still held the line without firing a single shot. That restraint isn't weakness, it's strategy. Hours later, the ship's systems hum quietly as analysts sift through data. Radar spikes, jamming signatures, and laser pulse codes from the encounter. The AN divided by SLQ-32 byte 6 logged new signal intelligence, valuable insight into the Type 346 amperes radar network. For the intelligence team, this was a clean sweep. Information gained, credibility preserved. On the flight deck, the MH-60R Seahawk lands against the fading light, its rotors slowing to silence. Salt mist drifts over the crew as they secure gear and power down systems. There's no celebration, just quiet professionalism, the kind that comes from knowing how close things came. News of the standoff spreads fast. Satellite shots hit social media within hours. Analysts argue whether China tested US nerves or miscalculated. But inside the Pentagon, the takeaway is clear. The freedom of navigation operation worked. The message was sent: America sails where it must, when it must. At sea, night falls. The ocean glows faintly under scattered stars. The captain stands by the rail, watching the horizon fade to black. "Tomorrow," he says softly, "we do it again." Because deterrence isn't built in one mission, it's held, day after day, under pressure no one else can see. Out here, calm isn't peace. It's the pause between storms. And for every sailor aboard the John Finn, that silence means readiness for whatever comes next. If you believe holding the line is the real show of strength, press 1. If you think the next storm will demand a stronger answer, press 9. It's 6:30 on the 20th of August, 2025. In the Taiwan Strait, USS Virginia suddenly picks up faint underwater noise. The sonar room goes silent for half a second. Then alarms pierce the air. Sailors sprint to battle stations, headphones tight, eyes locked on green lines. Beneath the waves, something big is moving. Chinese Type 93 amperes. The ocean turns into a black maze of echoes. Cavitation spikes, then fade. A narrow bearing holds, steady, patient. One wrong nudge and steel meets steel. Another ping rolls back like thunder. Mark 48 versus USET 80. Both can kill from far, both hunt by sound. The captain steadies his voice. "Rig for quiet. Fan slow." Coffee cups stop rattling. No one breathes loud. The boat angles a few degrees, slipping into a colder layer. Sound bends here. It hides you like fog. If they shoot first, seconds decide everything. If we shoot first, there's no second chance to correct. The next whisper on sonar will choose who hunts and who vanishes. In the Taiwan Strait, merchant ships push through narrow sea lanes. These routes keep factories supplied, shelves stocked, and energy flowing back home. Every container that moves here ties Asia to America's daily life. USS Virginia patrols beneath them, unseen, tasked with guarding this fragile chain against China's silent hunters. If one freighter goes down, the shock ripples far. Insurance costs spike, companies reroute, and allies start doubting Washington's reach. Today, that chain faces a test. The Type 93 amperes is no clumsy intruder, it's Beijing's most advanced attack submarine, armed with USET 80 torpedoes that can lock on and chase. Its presence sends a clear message. China is willing to challenge US submarines in their own backyard. For the crew of Virginia, this isn't just a cat and mouse chase. It's about proving who owns the undersea battle space. Inside the control room, sailors keep their voices low. Each bearing update is passed like a secret. A paint amperes Poseidon circles above, dropping sonobuoys to expand the net. Farther west, an Arleigh destroyer listens too, its towed array dragging miles behind. Together they form layers of detection, each one tightening around the Chinese sub. The US commander knows the goal isn't to kill, but to corner, showing dominance without sparking a war. Yet the danger is real. If a torpedo leaves its tube, escalation becomes unstoppable. This standoff isn't abstract policy, it's two submarines trading silence. Each crew sweating in cramped steel tubes, waiting to see who flinches first. And that raises the question, if you were in command, would you order the first shot or hold fire until the very last moment? Drop your choice below, press 1 for shoot first, or 9 for hold fire. 6:42. The bearing on the Type 93 amperes sharpens. USS Virginia glides silently, but inside the sonar room, time feels stretched thin. A faint trace appears, then vanishes, possible torpedo tube flood. The captain doesn't wait. He orders a snapshot. One Mark 48, ad cap readied and fired. The tube floods, compressed air hisses, and with a muffled roar, the torpedo slides into the black. It's not armed yet, just a probe. Sometimes firing first forces the enemy to react. Above the waves, a 8 amperes Poseidon scatters sonobuoys, each floating ear catching the ocean's whispers. Contacts align into a pattern. The 93 amperes is holding steady, aware it's being tracked. On the destroyer's deck, sailors bend over sonar screens, confirming hostile, no doubt. 6:47. Suddenly, the ocean roars with cavitation. The Chinese submarine surges, then cuts to dead silence, trying to vanish. The Poseidon's buoys keep the line. At that moment, the destroyer launches its helicopter. Rotor blades thunder, sending spray across the deck. The MH-60R dips low, sliding into its hunting pattern. The Seahawk hovers, lowering a long cable into the sea. At the end, dipping sonar, pinging the depths. Each pulse lights the ocean like a strobe. Operators inside the helo relay bearings back to Virginia. The net tightens. The Chinese sub is boxed. Then a metallic thud, unmistakable. Hydrophones on Virginia pick it up. Seconds later, the sonar operator confirms. Incoming torpedo, USET 80, range closing. The duel is no longer shadow play. A live weapon is in the water. Countermeasures, launch! The captain's voice cuts through. Decoys burst from Virginia, flooding the sea with false echoes. One USET 80 veers off, but another stays locked. The sub dives deeper, hull groaning as the pressure rises. Above, the helicopter joins the defense. Its crew drops a lightweight torpedo aimed to force the Chinese boat to maneuver. Water foams as the weapon enters, propeller biting hard. The MH-60R banks wide, sensors still pinging. Below, Virginia angles into colder water, trying to drag the USET 80 into a blind zone. Explosions rumble far off self-destructs or decoy hits. One Mark 48 keeps running, steady and relentless. In the 93 amperes, their crew must hear it too, a growing buzz in the steel. Now both sides face the moment, fire again, and risk escalation or break off before disaster. 6:55. The ocean is alive with echoes. Virginia holds steady in the deep, but the Chinese 93 amperes refuses to slip away. Instead, it circles, searching for an angle. Above, an MH-60R Seahawk hovers, rotors hammering the sky. Its dipping sonar pulses into the sea, painting the chase. Each return confirms the 93 amperes is still there, aggressive, holding close. On board the destroyer, the helo team readies another run. A second MH-60 lifts off, banking hard toward the buoy field dropped earlier by the Poseidon. Now 2 helicopters sweep the contact area, their sonars overlapping. The net grows tighter. The Chinese sub is trapped in a cage of sound. 6:58. A metallic clank. The sonar operator aboard Virginia stiffens. Possible tube flood. New launch detected. Seconds later, the unmistakable transient rings out. Another USET 80 torpedo is in the water. Countermeasures launch! Decoys burst free, flooding the sea with false tones. One torpedo swerves wide, but another keeps its track. Virginia dives deeper, hull creaking as pressure mounts. From above, sonar screens flicker, the torpedo is hot, chasing. The Seahawk drops a lightweight torpedo, aiming to disrupt the 93 amperes. Explosions rumble far away, decoy kills or self-destructs. Yet tension doesn't ease. The Chinese sub isn't fleeing. It's testing how far the Americans will go. On the destroyer's bridge, officers debate anti-sub rockets, but the captain holds too risky. Every second stretches thin. Virginia's commander knows. Torpedoes are costly, decoys finite. For the Chinese crew, the risk is death. But for Beijing, even losing a sub is cheaper than losing face. The duel has shifted into endurance and will. Sweat drips, hands shake, yet discipline holds. Above, the Seahawk circles again, sonar cables slicing the water, each ping narrowing the enemy's options. In the silence of the control room, the thought hangs. One mistake, one flare of aggression, and the line to open war snaps. And so we turn it to you. If you commanded this duel, would you press 1 to strike first or 9 to hold back? Comment below and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss how this standoff ends. 7-5. Just as the net seems unbreakable, sonar picks up something new. 2 return small, fast, running beneath the surface. The captain frowns. These are not submarines. They're unmanned underwater vehicles, drones. Beijing's hidden ace. The UUVs slice through the water, harder to track than a full-sized boat. Each carries a lightweight torpedo, enough to cripple if it lands. They rush toward the decoys trailing behind Virginia. On sonar, their signatures weave and dart like predators. The duel shifts again. The Seahawk above detects them too. Dipping sonar, pulsing hard. Fast movers, 2, bearing northeast, splitting wide. The crew radios. Poseidon confirms from higher altitude, sonobuoys flashing back identical data. For the first time, the American screen feels stretched thin. Target drones. The destroyer's team orders. The helicopter banks, releasing a torpedo into one path. Spray bursts as it hits the water, engine alive. Below, Virginia swings its bow. A Mark 48 launched toward the other. The first drone vanishes in a muffled explosion helicopter kill. For a moment, relief. But the second accelerates, zigzagging, closing on Virginia. Alarms wail. The sub rolls into a desperate turn, hull groaning. Another decoy launches, flooding the sea with bubbles. The drone hesitates, then cuts straight back onto the track. The crew holds their breath. This is not the duel they trained for. Drones are expendable, unpredictable, and they can arrive in numbers. For a submarine built to duel peers, this is a nightmare. The captain studies the plot. One mistake and his crew is lost, but delay means the drone closes to kill range. Every system hums, operators waiting for his word. 7:15. The last drone charges. Inside Virginia, klaxons scream, red lights flashing. Torpedo in the water! The sonar operator's voice is sharp. The captain wastes no time. Shoot, Tube 4! A Mark 48 leaps into the sea, propeller biting hard. The duel condenses into seconds. The torpedo races out, while the drone bears down on Virginia's hull. The submarine banks into a brutal turn, bolts groaning as pressure mounts. The ocean is alive with noise. Sonar pings from above. Countermeasure pops. The buzz of weapons chasing prey. Above, the MH-60R Seahawk hovers low, dipping sonar, stabbing the depths. Its crew calls out bearings, guiding Virginia's fire. A second Seahawk circles wider, ready to drop another torpedo if the 93 amperes re-engages. Higher up, Poseidon orbits, feeding the net with sonobuoys. The first drone vanishes in a muffled explosion direct hit. The crew exhales, but only briefly. A second contact appears, moving fast. Another drone, delayed, clever, closing hard. Alarms shriek again. Virginia dives deeper, throwing a knuckle of turbulence. The hull shudders, instruments rattle. Countermeasure, launch! A decoy bursts into a cloud of bubbles. For a moment the drone veers, then corrects, charging straight. The captain snaps. Tube 5 fire! Another Mark 48, tears free, racing head-on. Seconds stretch. Then a thunderous detonation shakes the boat. Lights flicker, mugs crash. Silence broken only by the hiss of air. Both drones are gone. Above, the Seahawk reports no fresh contacts. Poseidon confirms. The 93 amperes has broken off, retreating east under noise. The destroyer holds fire, satisfied the enemy has backed down. Damage control teams sweep the compartments with flashlights, checking valves and frames. A scorched breaker is reset. A hairline crack on a gauge, taped and tagged, no flooding, no fires. The captain holds at depth, riding the cold layer while a Seahawk makes one last dip, and Poseidon calls the buoy field cold. The climax leaves the crew drained, uniforms soaked, nerves raw. They survive submarine, torpedoes, and drones. But all know this is a warning. Undersea war is changing, and now it's your choice. In a moment where hesitation could mean destruction, would you press 1 to strike first or 9 to hold steady? Comment below and subscribe so you don't miss the next showdown. 7:30. The ocean slowly calms. Virginia stays deep, her crew straining to hear through the fading echoes. Above, the Seahawk makes a final slow orbit, dipping sonar one last time before cutting cable and climbing back toward the destroyer. Higher still, the Poseidon banks wide, its sonobuoy grid reporting silence. The result: survival. Virginia fought off torpedoes, drones, and the threat of a peer submarine. The layered defense worked submarine, destroyer, aircraft, all weaving a shield that held. But victory came at a cost. Mark 48 are precious, decoys limited. Against swarms of cheap drones, the math feels uneasy. The damage control report confirms. Stress marks on the hull, a scorched panel reset, cracked gauges taped and tagged, no flooding, no fire. The crew exhales, they live to fight again. Yet the silence in the control room is heavy. Everyone knows this wasn't just a duel, It was a rehearsal for the wars to come. Strategically, the message is clear. America can still dominate undersea, combining submarine stealth with the eyes and ears of air and surface partners. The Seahawk's rapid strikes and Poseidon's vast reach proved decisive, boxing in the 93 amperes and hunting its drones. But Beijing's new playbook is clear too. Expendable machines can push even the best boats to the edge. On the destroyer's bridge, officers look out at the calm sea. They know what it hides: contests invisible to the world above, moments where silence decides fates. In Washington, this fight will be counted as proof of dominance. In Beijing, it may be written as a lesson in persistence. For the men aboard Virginia, it is simpler. They won. But the thought lingers. What happens when the swarm doubles? When torpedoes launch from shore as drones attack below? The next fight could be faster, harder, less forgiving. And so the question falls to you. In a world where even victory feels fragile, should America press 1 to hit harder first, or 9 to hold and wait? Drop your answer below and subscribe so you don't miss the battles waiting just beyond the horizon.